Welcome to 28 Days and Beyond.
The show where we talk about our history, our heritage, and our culture.
I'm Amari.
I'm Kharisma. Welcome back.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yep.
Question.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Yes.
All right, what's up?
Thinking back to your childhood.
Uh-huh. That's why I rock with you.
What? Were we on the
Exact
same
question
wavelength?
I had. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Go on, go on,
So,
go on.
thinking back to your childhood, can you think back to like a community member or like a local hero or someone that when you were younger had like a major influence on you?
Yes.
Who is that person? Do tell.
Besides my father?
Yes.
No.
That's it?
It's like, no. You know what? No, I won't say that. It was a number of people. I was fortunate to grow up on a really cool block in terms of like, there were a lot of families and just a lot of children. And as a result, there were a lot of parents who were all kind of looking out for each other. And one was Mr. Bailey, who was my best friend, Stephen and Wesley, their father, who was always, you know, keeping an eye out for what a young Amari was up to. Yeah. What about you?
I would love to hear some of those stories later.
It'd be nothing but shining reviews. Yeah. What about you though?
Yeah, there's a few people. I had a kindergarten teacher, Miss Iqbal, who she was the first person. She had this saying, and my mom like would say it all the time when we were kids. She like, do what you're asked the first time you're asked to do it. My mom would say it to us all the time.
That was a saying?
Like with her, it
you
was.
know, that's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
This is we had different educational experiences because my
What?
teacher's quote that I remember was when you said, "I'm sorry," she said, "Yeah, you are." Anyway, go ahead. So go ahead, Miss
But there are a
Iqbal.
few, Mrs. Iqbal,
Yeah.
Mr. Smiley, who worked at the middle school and high school that I attended. He just was like that older male figure that looked out for everybody. He would tell the kids like pull up their pants.
Yeah.
And he just was like that kind of father figure who
Right.
helped us keep it together. But the reason I asked you that is because, you know, sometimes we have people that on bigger platforms everybody knows,
Yeah.
but oftentimes we don't get to celebrate the local heroes, the people that are really immersed in the communities
Right.
and giving back to the communities.
Definitely.
And that's what we want to do today.
That's a beautiful thing. I
Yes.
think we should.
I think we should too.
I mean, you know, it's Black History Month, and
Yes, it
obviously
is.
every year, you know, we're kind of hit with the same figures who are known by everyone, but those who have had the largest impact on our lives are people who we have regular daily interactions with. You know, so
Absolutely.
it's definitely important to focus on them as well.
Well, today,
Yep.
our guest is a local hero.
Okay.
We have Kevin Stroman that's joining us today. He's going to be talking to us about all the different work that he's doing in the community, work he's doing with kids, and I'm excited to talk to him.
That's it.
But we have to take a break, so we'll be back with more 28 Days and Beyond right after this.
And we're back with 28 Days and Beyond, joined now by Mr. Kevin Stroman.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad
How's
to
it
be
going?
here. All right.
Good. Today we're talking about local heroes. Please toot your own horn. Tell us about why you're a local now. Tell us a little bit about the work that you've done.
Wow. Yeah, well, I say all this humbly because, you know, for me, I'm just a vessel of God. So I try to give back where I do. Due to my own personal choices growing up, I ended up in California and I came back home. So when I came back home, I was really actually trying to get kids to go play basketball and things like that. So I ended up starting a youth group called Kids First Now.
And where is this?
This is Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne, yeah, it's a black section of Wayne called Mount Pleasant. That's where I kind of grew up at. Went to Tredyffrin, Conestoga, and all that stuff. And so, you know, when we started the youth group, it was all, like I said, about playing basketball and just hanging out. But then everybody kept asking, you know, what's the name of it? What's the name of it? That's when we started Kids First Now. So about, you know, we've been doing that for a while where we try to introduce cultural and social and educational programs to the kids in the area. So our main function is to, you know, promote education. So we've been running tutoring programs. We go to different, you know, venues as far as, you know, museums, the arts, you know, People's Light Theater, the Art and Theater, things like that. And we've been doing that for a while, but I found myself talking to a lot of the young adults. So about 3 years ago, we changed the name to Mainline Mentoring. And so now that's what we really do. You know, same thing, we do a lot of mentoring, talking to kids and, you know, try and keep them on track because, you know, even though we're in the main line, you know, we have some of the same issues that a lot of cities have, but it's not as well promoted.
Well, explain that though. I mean, what is, you know, the main line versus obviously the city of Philadelphia? Why would somebody say even though we're on the main line, right? There's a different expectation for the main line.
Money.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. You
Right.
know, when once you say you're from the main line,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people automatically think that you're part of that, you know, $1 million home, you know, and family, but that's not necessarily truth.
Right.
One of the reasons why there are a lot of black communities in the main line is because when you know they came up from the South, you know, most of them flocked to Philadelphia, you know, to the main city, and so when it was trying to get, you know, from the Philly out to the main line, to the suburbs, to the mansions, you know, and all that, that's where sometimes there'll be issues in terms of travel. So they started instituting all these little black pockets so that, you know, they could have access to the domestic workers in the fields and things like that. And so there's a lot of black pockets throughout the main line that a lot of people don't even really realize are there.
And you mentioned that you grew up in the Wayne area. You went to school where?
Conestoga.
Conestoga, nice.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
started
within
Stratford Elementary, Valley Forge, and then
Okay.
graduated from Conestoga.
And that's within the TE school district?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, I mean, he certainly has, and I think it's really interesting, like you said, because I mean, even just, right, people say mainline, you know, I go shopping in Ardmore, for instance.
yeah.
and so on.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I've come up, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right, that there are these other things. So, you know, I'm really interested about some of the issues that you've been working through with the young folks, and you know, some of the issues that you've seen, some of the challenges, the strengths, the, you know.
And we want to hear more about the program too.
Certainly. But right now we have to take a brief pause.
Okay.
But we'll be back with more 28 Days and Beyond.
Welcome back to 28 Days and Beyond. We are still here with Kevin Stroman. So a little bit before the break, we were just talking about some of the work that you do as mentoring, you know, kids in the community. And actually, when we met years ago, that's how we met.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I started volunteering with one of the programs that you were
Right.
you were running.
Well, it was interesting because Coach Zeke at the
Yes.
time, that's my buddy. When we first started the program, we were trying to find a place to play basketball, and everybody turned us down except him. Coach Zeke was like, come on in. So when I came in, and that's once again, a lot of people don't know that there's a black neighborhood. So I started, you know, obviously gravitating to the, you know, the black players to let them know, hey, look, there's the barbershop up the street, there's a church up the street, you have your own community here as well. And so I got to, you know, talking to a lot of the players that I still talk to now. But yeah, he was the first one to open the doors up. Because, you know, we were at the, you know, different libraries and, you know, different schools and, you know, just trying to, you know, keep the program going. But like I said, we had to refurbish the building, which was built in the 1830s. I used to go there when I was, not 1830s, but I used to go there when I was small, you know, and it's called the Car School Mount Pleasant Chapel. And that's where we hold tutoring programs 4 days a week from 4 to 6. And that's one of my main things. And then college, you know, tours and, you know, just trying to keep them as busy and active as possible.
Yeah, it's
But
one of my
why?
favorite college
Why do you
moments.
do it?
For me, coming out of TE, one thing I do know, I mean, I was blessed to have some, you know, very brilliant parents. So, you know, I was kind of a wild child.
You're a
So
knucklehead?
yeah, I was, you know, but the thing is though, it was easy for me to study. So, you know, breezing through school was easy, but I never applied myself.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I see so many of the kids doing the same thing and worse, you know. I mean, thank God, like I said, I was able to handle it, but a lot of kids can't. So, you know, even though we have all the resources and, you know, all the money that's there, growing up, obviously there was a little bit of, you know, the racist activity going on. So, you know, was it really the school or was it me or whatever it was, I never achieved. Well, a lot of these kids are doing the same thing even to this day, you know, where the resources are there, but, you know, the community just needs help in terms of applying themselves and, you know, trying to get the education that they need to be successful. And so it's embedded in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
One
find
of-
myself all the time.
And one of the things I remember was like, you know, we're at this place and we're tutoring these kids, but it was fun, right? So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, do your homework, but then we get to play games. We
Right.
get to do things that, you know, keep them engaged, but they were educational games like 24 and things like
Yeah,
that.
you remember
So
24.
I do. It kept us engaged. I
That's what's
remember
up.
that.
That's what's up. One of the questions that we were talking about in our intro was, you know, do we have anyone from our childhood who was sort of a, you know, a local hero?
Right.
Was there anybody in your life like that?
My main hero is my mom. I mean, she raised 5 of us by herself.
Wow.
And I will brag about this. My older brother graduated from Berkeley, my sister from Drexel, my younger brother from MIT, and my younger sister from North Carolina. Well, Virginia and North Carolina. She's a doctorate now. And me, I was That was just wild.
But good
You know,
stuff,
but
good
to
stuff.
be honest, that's why it's embedded in me, because I know the mistakes that you can make. You know, there's only so many opportunities that you have as you're trying to achieve in your life and where you're going and what you're doing. So all the influences can easily take you somewhere.
So when you talk about these influences, I mean, obviously there's always all kinds of influences. In the time that you've been doing the work that you have you seen anything changing with regards to how young folks are sort of adapting to, responding to their environment, to these influences, or has it been pretty consistent?
I could say yes and no to that, because I still don't see them really grasping what's right at their hands. I'd noticed that the school district has definitely, you know, been a little bit more aware, you know, of the gap, you know, between, and a lot of times it's the money, you know what I mean? We can't afford, you know, like when they took away Head Start and all that stuff, so a lot of our kids come in behind. So, you know, I find that, so yeah, but as far as the other influences, I mean, you know, you got the drugs, you got the alcohol, you got all that mess. And so when you find kids that are getting caught up, and you know, you can tell they're getting caught up, you know, so obviously they're not studying and things like that. So that's where that mentoring side comes in.
Well, you've been doing this for a really long time. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to implementing in these programs that you're doing moving forward?
Well, the main thing is, number one, just, you know, keeping forward and trying to work with the school district and, you know, different, and the parents. You know, I always call it the triangle. You know, you got the parents, you got the teachers, and then you got the kids. You know, so if any one of them falls, you know, by the wayside, then the rest of them's going to fall apart. So I try to make sure that at least I'm there being vocal. You know, one of the biggest things is letting them know that I'm there. You know, that we're there. You know, we have 2 retired school teachers helping and things like that. So I want to continue just to try to get them to, you know, not only graduate, but have other dreams, because, you know, the high school diploma is now the 4-year degree. Right. So if you're not at least getting your 4-year degree, you're wasting your time. You know, and you should be going for your master's and doctorate. So, you know, I just try to, you know, keep on pushing the way Curtis Mayfield
Where
said.
can people find out more about your program and get involved if they want to volunteer?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a website yet. I keep going back and forth with the website because, you know, I wear a lot of hats there. You know what I mean? I fix the computers, I cut the grass, I do whatever's necessary. And so when it comes time to getting a website, you know, I just, you know, because then you got to keep up on it. We do have a Facebook page. It's Mainline Mentoring, which is a Facebook page. We're at 950 Upper Gulf Road in Wayne, which is at the corner of Henry Avenue, right near Radnor Road. And they can always call me or, you know, email me.
Awesome.
Which is at Stroman at mainlinementoring.org.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you being here. For sure.
All right.
And thanks for the work you do in your community.
Thank you.
We'll be back
Tell
with
your
more
mom
20.
I said hi.
I will. We'll be back with more 28 Days and Beyond right after this.
And we're back with more 28 Days and Beyond. Kharisma.
Amari.
Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's doing work.
He definitely is. I mean, you know, and again, I think this is the theme of this season.
Yes.
Got to step my game up.
Yes, you do.
But you know what I really liked about all the guests, but I mean, you know, Kevin just said, this is just my experience. Like, it's just what, he's not going out of his way to, he's like, yo, it's just what I do. It's what I love doing. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? I think that that's a really, really important, honorable, and respectable, you know, path to follow.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this earlier in the season, but just this idea that, you know, for some people, when you think of mentorship, it's like this grandiose idea, and really it's not. It's just being present and doing whatever you can, whatever small part to large part that you can do to give back to your community. Like, really, that's all it is, and giving people an outlet to just have a safe space so that they're not doing these other things that, you know, are going to get them in trouble and lead them down the wrong path. That's really important.
I mean, you know, there's the consistency of it.
Yes.
Being consistent in people's lives. Being there, you know, someone who they can talk to, not necessarily being judgmental, but I just, that consistency I think is really important.
Very.
You know, for him to have been doing it in the time that he has, it's just,
A really long
it's a good brother, good brother.
And also it was interesting to hear about Wayne and these communities of Black and brown folks. I was unaware.
Yeah, because when they tell me
You
come
talk
out to the
about
main line,
Wayne?
I'm like, you want to go to the main line? I'm good. I'll wait till you come to the city. You know? Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so it was good to hear that, and also good to hear that you have folks that are saying, like, listen, there still are communities that need our help, even though it's, you know, the main line. Let's not go with a misconception. Let's get in there, do the work, and help the people.
Which, you know, I mean, that's where he's from. That's where he grew up. You know, and it's what he knows. I think that I keep saying that because sometimes it really is that simple.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go out of your way. It's just a matter of just sort of casting down your bucket wherever you are.
Yes, and being willing to share your experience. So you headed back to Jersey to do some mentoring and
Absolutely
tutoring?
not.
Come on, AJ.
I mean, you know.
Come on, AJ.
You know, I'm here now. This is
Okay.
where I am.
Fair enough.
That was a good story, man.
It was.
Yeah.
All right, well, get to work.
This has been another episode of 28 Days and Beyond.
Where we talk about our history, our heritage, and our culture. We'll see you next time.
Peace.